Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's your boy Ben and JV from JBM Sports Media coming at you guys with an NFL video, a video that honestly we thought we would never make because we didn't think this would even be a possible scenario in the world of football. And I'm still shocked even that we're going to talk about this right here. And that is that Bill Belichick, and it's crazy even saying these words out loud right now, is not a first ballot Hall of Famer. He was not voted to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I'm so shocked. JV, I'll throw it right to you, bro. Where does your mind go when you saw this happen right off the bat?
It's disgraceful. It's borderline. It's a travesty. I think it's disgraceful. I think it's a broken system. This guy's an 8-time Super Bowl winning coach. Two as a Giant, as a defensive coordinator, and 6 with the New England Patriots. I mean, look, I know Tom Brady is one of the best quarterbacks of all time, if not the best quarterback of all time. But the fact that this man was winning and successful before him, and then even after him, still getting to the playoffs, I believe one time under Mac Jones, I just don't see how this guy's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. I mean, he's been a coach in this league from 1975 to 2023. He's had number one defenses literally everywhere he's gone. Denver was the first stop. He was a defensive pass game coordinator. Then he played in Detroit, coached in Detroit. Then he went to the Jets, and we all know what happened with the Jets. In 1999, they were the number one defense in the league. Before that stop, he was the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. I mean, then he goes to the Patriots, and do we even have to talk about the accolades of this guy? Has put up. He's a 3-time Coach of the Year. I mean, he's a part of the top 100 NFL. The NFL, the greatest of all time in the top 100. What else does this guy need to do? And I think he even asked, "What else does a guy need to do? I've won 6 Super Bowls as a head coach." He didn't even factor in that he's won 8. He was just talking about how he's won 6 as a head coach. He's literally won 8. He's almost has enough rings to fit on both hands and to fill up both hands. I think this is a broken system, and not for nothing, baseball is right behind it. I think this whole Hall of Fame voting system is a joke. I think it should be players that are in the Hall of Fame, and they should be on the panel or the committee. They know what it takes to be a Hall of Famer. They know what it takes to line up every day and put your body on the line. Not these writers, these punk writers who they didn't even play two-hand touch as kids. They don't even, half of them aren't even athletes. They've never even played competitive sports. They just know how to put pen to paper. They're journalists, and not for nothing, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be this way anymore. I think it's a complete joke. And Eli Manning doesn't get in. I mean, what else do we need? What else do we need to talk about here? This is an absolute travesty. But Bill Belichick, if you want to have a debate about Eli, no problem. That's fine. But Bill Belichick should have been a no-brainer, not even a blink of an eye. This should have been settled. And I think it's a joke. And Tom Brady said it the best. If Bill Belichick doesn't get in as a first ballot, then no one deserves to get in on their first ballot. Everybody should have to be analyzed with a fine-tooth comb. You want to blame him for Spygate and Deflategate? I mean, really? Are those two things really that damaging? Because, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe Deflategate, they ran the football for 380 yards in that game. They couldn't stop the run. So it doesn't matter if the ball was deflated or not. Indianapolis couldn't stop the run if they had 40 guys playing defense that day. So I don't want to hear that the ball was deflated. Spygate, sure, no problem. Is it a black eye? Yes. Does that take away from the fact that this guy's a Hall of Fame head coach? First ballot? It's a joke. It's a literal joke. And I'm a Jet fan. I had to watch this guy for 23 years torture my organization. Not only that, but if we go back to 1999, he literally spurned the Jets from taking the head coaching job and went back to New England. Nobody remembers that. He was literally the head coach, and 3 days later, he stepped down and went to New England. I think it's a broken system. Like I said, it needs to be fixed. This is a joke. It's a black eye in the NFL. It's a black eye on this voting process, and it's a travesty. It's a complete travesty. It's borderline disgusting.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. Kind of just to keep it more short, I do believe it's disgraceful just because of the career of Bill Belichick going down. Like you said, 8 championships, 2 as a DC for the Giants, 6 championships with the Patriots. And what he did, he still in first right now in all playoff wins as a head coach. I think even those incredible historic remarks like of what he's done as a New England Patriot, and for that to, fall short first ballot, it says right here he fell short the 40 out of 50 votes needed. I mean, you're telling me there was 10 people. I mean, 12. I think correctly, it was 12 people that actually didn't vote for Belichick, and it's disgraceful. We've seen a lot of guys, for example, like we see many sports analysts like Stephen A., Ryan Clark coming out saying what's going on with this voting system. And I couldn't agree more with these guys. Sometimes I disagree with these guys, but I couldn't agree more. This voting system right now is really down bad. We'll talk about Eli in a second, but the fact that Bill Belichick this year isn't going into Canton, Ohio, it's absolutely disgraceful. Disgraceful. And most of these voters are around the same age of Bill Belichick's, around 65, 70-ish, very old head voters. And there are a lot of bitter old people that, if it's because of Spygate, if it's because of Deflategate, whatever you want to say it is, I mean, I don't even think that's it. Maybe because they just don't like the guy. And that's honestly brutal, having people like that can voice their opinions and cost the guy, no matter what, he's going in the Hall of Fame. We know that. But it's actually incredible to think that he's not going to go in this year knowing all of his accolades and what he has achieved in pro football. I just can't wrap my head over that. I think it's truly sickening. I'll pull up some more things right here real quick because, like I said, I'm obviously very upset about it. And we have right here, so I'll pull it up right here. Regardless of your opinion on Bill Belichick, I think Gordon Schultz said it the best way. Him not being a first ballot Hall of Famer is a disgrace, a direct indictment of the Hall of Fame itself. Absolute joke. Couldn't have said it better. It's time to have this process of the NFL Hall of Fame. And to an extent, you also set the MLB. I think you're right on that regard as well. Switch it up. We need to switch it up right here because it's just not clicking no more in all cylinders. We could get into Eli. Like you said, Eli, I guess you could debate it a little bit, but even then, I would disagree in that debate. I think Eli should have gone in this year. But Belichick, tell me what's the reason? What's the reason? Spygate, Deflategate? Like, come on, man. I mean, that's not enough for me. That's not enough for me. And you mentioned it right now. Tom Brady's remarks, he said, I don't understand it. If he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer, there should be really no coach that should ever be a first ballot Hall of Famer. And when guys like some coaches that are going to come up, like Andy Reid, for example, is he going to be a first ballot? I mean, we're going to have to wait and see, right? But the fact that Bill Belichick isn't, it's truly a travesty.
Yeah, listen, like I said, I'm a Jet fan. This guy ruined my childhood. He ruined my later early adult years. And the fact that he's just not a first ballot Hall of Famer, it makes zero sense. There's no sensible reasoning for this. I'm sorry, Deflategate and Spygate. It wasn't like Deflategate and Spygate were years worth of cheating scandals where they found him doing it for like 7 or 8 years, where you could say, okay, now the majority of your tenure as a head coach, you cheated. No, there were 2 separate occasions, 2 separate instances. They were one and done instances. They weren't, like I said, elongated or prolonged incidences. They were just temporary things that happened, and he got caught. Fine. Well, and I think they got handed down some pretty fine. I think they maybe lost some draft picks. I'm not really too sure about that, so I don't want to be wrong, but I'm sure they got some disciplinary action for both of those incidences. But again, the Indianapolis Colts even came out and said it. They're like, we don't care about the ball being deflated. We couldn't stop the run, whether they had a beach ball, a football, an apple. It didn't matter what they were holding. We couldn't stop the run, so it didn't matter. To me, this stuff doesn't matter. This is 2 little blips on what has been, a phenomenal career. Like I said, from 1975 to 2023, and with the possibility of him maybe even coaching again in the NFL.
Yeah.
After his stint at North Carolina is either done or he leaves early. This is literally a travesty. It's a joke. I don't understand how this is even a thing. It just, to me, it's such a black eye on the NFL. I can't see how this is something that's not going to be talked about. It has to change. This can't happen to somebody else that's deserving of it, because now if they look at Bill Belichick as an example, maybe and it's not fair to the next candidate. So personally, that needs to change. Like I said, maybe the new panel should be a bunch of players who are in the Hall of Fame already, that just they obviously have played the game and they know the game better than some journalist. And I think that's what has to happen.
Yeah, and we had somebody that voted, I forgot his name, Bill Belichick, I think is his name. And he basically said, I don't remember if I voted Bill Belichick in for the Hall of Fame this year. What do you mean you don't remember? This is the simple, perfect example right here of what's wrong with the system. We have somebody saying he doesn't remember.
He doesn't remember.
Reality,
yeah.
He probably didn't vote for him. There's going to be a lot of bitter old guys that didn't vote for Bill Belichick. I've seen a Kansas City reporter that came out saying he didn't vote for Bill Belichick, but he will get in eventually. Like, bro, you guys are disgraceful to the sport. You guys shouldn't have the ability to do what you guys are doing. I think it takes away from a lot of the beauty of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, the guys that are in it right now. It's just a bad mark. And, we mentioned this guy.
And this is their 15 minutes of fame, too. It's like, oh, let's not vote him in so we can get some notoriety. Shame on you. You guys are disgraceful. You're punks. It's a punk move. I'm sorry.
It is. No, you don't got to apologize for that. It is. It's a punk move. It's a disgrace. And these guys should lose their jobs for doing something like this, especially when it comes to a guy like Bill Belichick. Another guy that you mentioned, however, Eli Manning, for the second year in a row, not voted into the Hall of Fame. Obviously, like you said, this one could be a little bit more so debate. I think he should have got in this year. Maybe not first ballot, but, if he would have got in this year, I think it would have been rightfully deserved. Obviously, two-time Super Bowl MVP, beat Brady twice. I don't know. When it comes to him, I understand why people sometimes make the remark, but look at what he did in the regular season. It wasn't all that. I get it. I don't know. I think he should have been in just because, I don't know, maybe that's me because I actually like Eli Manning, but I don't know. I felt like he should have been in. Do you feel that way or no?
Yeah, maybe not last year, like you said. This year, he beat one of the greatest teams ever assembled. Like, it's the truth. That team was literally going to go undefeated, that Patriots team, and he beat them. Yes, he played with phenomenal defenses. I'm not going to ever say that Eli didn't have help. He had that double-headed beast at running back with Ahmad Bradshaw and Brandon Jacobs. The Plaxico Burresses, Mario Manningham, all these guys. Kevin Boss, Jeremy Shockey, all these guys that he played with. It was phenomenal, right? I totally get that. But that David Tyree play in that Super Bowl where he comes down with the ball on his head and Eli evaded 2 sacks and was able to throw the ball midfield and that play happened, it's a legendary play. Then the next Super Bowl they play against New England, Mario Manningham makes that catch on the sideline. It was one of the best throws I've ever witnessed in a football game. To this day, it's one of the best throws I've ever seen. He was a different quarterback in the playoffs. This guy went to Green Bay, beat Brett Favre. It was literally, I think it was like 13 below zero in the NFC Championship game. He went to San Francisco, did the same thing. Beat really, really good teams in order to get to that Super Bowl game, and then beat the god of all gods in Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. That team should have never been beaten by that Giant team. I don't care how you dissect it, how you break it down. Eli Manning put that team on his back, drove them down the field. They made some phenomenal, spectacular plays, and they won. This guy's a 2-time MVP winner. I know he's a 500 quarterback in the regular season. I know that. But those 2 Super Bowl wins are the most impressive 2 Super Bowl wins that most NFL players could even say. So how does he not get in this time? This time around, he should have gotten in. And I just think these writers are just salty. They're salty writers, man.
Very salty. And even in that matchup, like you said, the team that he beat with the Patriots, there was people probably putting the house on the Patriots in that Super Bowl. Man, look, think about it like that, right?
We can get into that later.
Think about it like that. Eli, I think he should have got in this time around. When I look at the bracket or the ballot, should I say, of like Hall of Fame worthy players, I think it's probably going to be Brees this time around and probably Larry Fitz. I think those are the 2 that I think are maybe going to be deserving of first ballot nods. I think that would make the most sense, but I really thought Eli was going to get in this year because I see the debate, like, was Eli ever a top 5 quarterback in his era? Probably not. I'll be honest.
Probably not. And I get that.
Was he ever in the regular season above average, even like, elite? I don't think so. You know what I mean?
Not elite, but maybe above average. Like
above average, yes.
Some years, yeah. He wasn't an MVP type quarterback. I'll tell you that. The guy's got a 500 record, but you also take into account his games played streak.
Yeah, that's a great point.
It's the NFL we're talking about here, guys. This isn't golf. Like this man played a brutal sport where there wasn't so many rules against the quarterback that protected them.
I think his regular season record was 117 to 117, if I remember correctly. It's right 500. So there's arguments. I get this more than the Belichick 10 times out of 10. I get this. I just do believe Eli should have went in this year. I think I wouldn't say for sure anymore, knowing how salty some of these guys are. He should get in next year. If not when, it's like, come on, bro. Eli's Manning.
I mean, if not next year, if not next year, then it's got to get. There has to be a change. You can't.
Yeah, there has to be a change.
Listen, and I don't disagree with him not getting in last year, but what is the reasoning? I'd like to sit down with these guys and figure out what the reasoning is for him not to be in, other than his mediocre regular season play. I don't understand.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Obviously, people talk about his interceptions as well. Like, I think that's a point that you like to bring up. All right,
yeah.
Cool. I mean, there's arguments why he shouldn't have been a first ballot Hall of Famer that I agreed with. I actually don't think he should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer.
No, he should not. He should not.
This time around, I think it was his moment. Obviously, it's not. I am just very curious to see who does go in the Hall of Fame this year for the NFL. I think it's probably going to be Breeze. I think it's going to be probably Fitz as well. Man, I don't know. I don't know what to say.
Listen, they're deserving. They're deserving of it.
No doubt.
Those were generational talents, especially Drew Brees, because he was literally 5'9", throwing off his tippy toes. Okay, so and this guy was a top 3 quarterback every year that he played. So
yeah, and one thing as well.
What do you do at that point?
Yeah, Drew Brees has kind of, in a way, I'm 5'9" as well, 5'10"-ish. He's kind of inspired me. I have a Saturday league coming up next season, and I'm not going to show you guys right now. We're going to wait till the clips, in the summer roll around. But I mean, I guess on the best day I am 5'10", not really 5'9", but I've been a little bit pocket presence like Drew Brees a little bit. I've been maintaining myself. It's been snowing outside, been outside practicing. So I just want to shout out Drew Brees. I've been watching a lot of his highlight reels, kind of just motivating me. And if you guys want to see some clips of me getting on the field, I see myself as kind of a Drew Brees, Bryce Young type of quarterback right now. I do have Bryce Young's mobility. I mean, if you guys want to see that, just let me know. But
I personally think you're like Justin Fields, and you need to come down to earth a little bit. But I mean, that's another story for another day. I think maybe you need a reality check. Maybe you need to get hit by Ray Lewis to realize that you're not a quarterback.
Yeah, probably not that. Look, guys, in the comment section, let us know what you guys think immediately on this atrocity this year from the NFL writers that decide who gets into the Hall of Fame. Because, like I said, I'm absolutely shocked that more so Bill Belichick hasn't gotten in his first time around. Man, this is so disheartening. I could only imagine for him. I know he'll probably be all like indifferent about it if he does get interviewed to a higher extent, like maybe a long interview. Bill Belichick doesn't really show emotions like that, but I could only imagine him behind closed doors how pissed off he was about this. And rightfully
there was reports saying that he was questioning people. I think that was sitting next to him, like, what more should I have done to get in? Like, I don't understand. And if you're gonna penalize Belichick for this, what do you do? Do you not put Tom Brady in as the first ballot Hall of Fame because he was a part of Deflategate and Spygate?
If they don't
think about it though.
Yeah,
it wasn't just Belichick that was involved. This was a whole organization that was involved in this. They had guys filming. Tom Brady wasn't filming.
Nope,
but he was a part of it. I'm sure he knew about it. Do you keep him out? No, because they're going to suck Tom off. That's the difference. That's the golden child. But guess what? Tom Brady, yes, I understand he won with Bruce Arians. I know. He won with Bruce Arians. He's done it without Belichick. He proved that he didn't need Belichick. I get that. But Tom Brady isn't Tom Brady in New England without Bill Belichick.
No. And he knows that.
And he knows that. And that's why maybe their relationship was a little rocky at the end. But Tom knew what he was doing today. He knew what he was saying and that it was factual. If you don't put this guy as a first ballot Hall of Famer, then no coach with this type of pedigree deserves to be in on a first ballot.
Couldn't have said it better. I like you said, they're not going to keep him off and not be a first ballot Hall of Famer for Tom Brady. I think it's just kind of unreal, this situation right here.
It's embarrassing.
There needs to be a change ASAP when it comes to these writers. Bring in a new generation because these old heads must be stopped. And I'll leave it at that. Like I said, let us know what you guys think in the comment section. It's been a great video. We've been going on a crazy streak. Only going to keep it going. Baseball's right around the corner. We have the Super Bowl next week, and we're going to have a lot of Super Bowl content rolling out here on YouTube, so stay tuned. Back on TikTok. TikTok's finally up and running at JBM Sports Media on TikTok, on IG, JBM Sports Media, X and Facebook coming out pretty soon. Other than that, I mean, JB, anything else you want to say before we wrap it up?
No, I just think, like I said, my idea moving forward, and this can go for any sport, honestly. I see the biggest discrepancies, obviously, in football and baseball. But like I said, maybe the panel and should not be writers. Maybe it should be ex-players that have been in the Hall of Fame for at least 5 years. They get voted in by maybe a board of trustees or something, however it should work. And
yeah, I like that.
Instead of having the same 7, 8, 10 people on the panel, every 4 years, swap them out. Swap them out, do a revote, have somebody that's the president, have a CEO, have a vice president, have them conduct a vote. And then every 4 years, like the president of the United States, you swap out guys and you vote in new ones. And that's literally how it should be.
I like that. I really do.
And then maybe every 2 years you could do a voting. Maybe a guy loses his term. Maybe someone else gets voted in. But I don't know. It shouldn't be writers anymore. They're a disgrace. They don't know what it takes to play and lace up their cleats or go out there and be competitive. And I'm sorry. Listen, I don't take away from what they do on a journalist standpoint, but this is just Bush League stuff. This isn't journalism. This isn't constructive writing. This is literally bullshit. That's what it is. There's no other way to say it. It's a disgrace. And I think if you're Paul Tagliabue or Roger Goodell, what would Paul Tagliabue think if he was alive? He would he would be disgraced and incensed. Roger Goodell needs to really step in and say something. He really does. Because I feel like Paul Tagliabue would have. I feel like Paul Tagliabue would have came to the forefront and said, this is a broken system. Goodell makes this much money and he's that rich. Step up and say something.
Step up and say something,
this.
Please.
Fix this. It's a disgrace. Fix it.
Hey, let us know in the chat what you guys think about JB's idea. I think it's actually a pretty good idea. Something needs to change, and I think we hope that it happens very sooner rather than later. But other than that, it's been your boys, Ben and JB from JBM Sports Media, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.